Less than an hour from now, Robert Kennedy Jr. set to address the nation from Arizona. Overnight, Kennedy took himself off the state's ballot, fueling speculation that he will end his White House bid and endorse former President Trump. His likely exit could potentially alter the election. Former 2024 presidential candidate Marianne Williamson joins us now to talk about this more. Full disclosure, you and I are personal friends, though it never prevents us from having a spirited political discussion. So let me ask you this question. Robert Kennedy Jr. was treated terribly by the Democratic Party, which is why he bailed out and went independent. You received similar treatment from the Democratic Party. They would never even let you gain a foothold. What do you think about what he's doing now?
Well, we don't know for sure what he's going to do in his press conference. We do seem fairly confident that he is dropping out of the race. That seems to be certain. Whether or not he's going to endorse Trump, it's a rumor, it's out there, but there was also a rumor that Beyonce was going to be at the Democratic National Convention last night. If Bobby has to do what Bobby has to do, Bobby has been poorly treated. And you're right, it's not okay. And also, I think the Democratic Party needs to realize that you create what you defend against. Anybody who is qualified according to the Constitution of the United States who chooses to run for president has a right to share their views. A lot of people don't like what Bobby Kennedy has to say, but Bobby Kennedy is a qualified citizen of the United States. And also, I think he did some radical truth-telling that whether you want to vote for him or not, deserves to be heard.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people didn't like what you had to say in the campaign. A lot of people liked what you had to say, but you were never allowed to even voice those policies under the Democratic rubric. And
there are battles, and then there's a war. So the battle for me to have greater exposure, that battle is over. And what lies in front of us now is the election between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. For me, I'll be voting for Kamala Harris because she's the only viable option to Donald Trump. And I am someone who believes that Donald Trump is really bad for this country.
All right. So you were waiting until her speech last night to sort of make a decision on how you really felt about her. What did you think of her speech?
I wouldn't say that I was waiting to see how I really felt about it. What I believe in are the basic traditional principles of the Democratic Party. Did I hear support for people who need health care the way I would like to hear it? No, I didn't. Did I hear support for how we're really going to deal with all the floods and all the storms and all the hurricanes and climate change? No. Did I hear a conversation about the U.S. military and foreign policy? No. However, once again, I think that we have to recognize there are two separate dynamics here. One is the horse race. So in the horse race, I'm voting for Kamala Harris. But there's a deeper dynamic here. And in that deeper dynamic, the American mind, I believe, has got to mature beyond this black and white thinking. I mean, two things can be true at the same time. I'm deeply disturbed by the way the establishment Democratic Party is operating. And, you know, some people keep saying to me, you need to endorse her. This is interesting. I'm not endorsing anyone because I think what I want to endorse is the American people thinking for themselves. But I will tell you this, for those who are so eager for me to endorse her, with my audience, it is actually more to her benefit for me to say, we have to do it, guys. Right. We have to do it because Trump is too big a threat.
So she's been called very thin on policy so far. There wasn't a lot of it articulated last night. Here's what the New York Post said no plan, Cam, as the headline. Kamala Harris caps star-studded DNC with acceptance speech, big on vibes, but light on policy. Contrasting that, your website, you had 31 highly articulated policy pages. Kamala Harris's website has none. You went through everything from animal protection all the way down to women's issues. There's plenty of places on her website where you can donate, but there are no places where you can find out what she really stands for.
Unfortunately, particularly in today's world, with the incredible power of the media plus social media, he who controls the narrative controls the world. So the narrative was created as a way to nullify and suppress my campaign, that I didn't have any policies. I didn't have anything specific to say about anything, plus blacklisting on CNN and MSNBC, et cetera. And you're right. And I don't believe that somehow we're all supposed to fall in line on this issue. I believe that Kamala is served by Democrats saying, come up with some policy. I understand that their strategy is to keep the conversation sort of shallow and to rely, as you said, on vibes, I actually don't think that's even good political strategy.
Well, in 2019, she was relying on vibes, and she was running neck and neck with Bernie Sanders, and then people started delving into her record and her policy, and she flamed out in epic fashion. Do you think they're concerned that that could happen again?
Well, I think that the political establishment, and I think in many ways this is true. Listen, I'm not letting the Republican Party off the hook here. I have equal, if not greater criticism there. However, there is a way that the entire political establishment is really resisting the American people getting as deep as we need to get. And when we have a deeper conversation about what is happening in America, we're not falling slavishly in line with either major political party. When we have a deeper conversation about what is happening in America, we have the conversation that most matters now. At both political conventions, if you looked up at the top, huge corporate forces who are buying these VIP suites for at least $500,000, who are sipping on champagne and looking down at the rest of us.
Talking
like
about the
suckers.
working class.
That's exactly. While both parties are talking about how we're going to help the working class, and the people in those VIP suites are saying you'll only do it to the point where you're not disturbing our bottom line. That's the conversation that we now need to be having. It's beyond post-partisan. It's post-shallow.
Yeah. Well, as you mentioned, you were blacklisted by some other news channels. You're always welcome to come on with us here.
Ironic as it is. Thank you.
I stole you from Cavuto.
Thank you so much.
Marianne, great to see you.
God bless you.
Thank you.